All right, folks, Mark here again, cooking the books. So I did a video on COVID. I just want to touch on that a little bit more about the virus, more so the virus, not just COVID, but specifically the virus. So listen to this, folks, more information on viruses. Viruses, like I said before, can't be cured, all right? And the reason why viruses can't be cured, because viruses are strands of DNA, right? They're strains of DNA. And here's the number one reason why there's no curing a virus, right? Because viruses are not alive. Antibiotics kill bacteria, right? A bacteria can be killed because the bacteria meets the threshold or the standards of what is needed to be considered living. Viruses do not meet the standards, neither do they cross the threshold of what is needed to be considered a living entity or microorganism. Bacteria do. Why? They have a cell. They can reproduce. They can replicate because they have a cell. They would be considered a prokaryote cells, right? I read about that in biology class years ago. I don't remember all that stuff, but anywho, like, so there's two types of two categories. There's prokaryote and there's eukaryote. Eukaryotic cells are multicellular organisms, which are you and I, human beings, or any organism that is multicellular. Prokaryote is singular cellular organisms, right? Viruses are neither eukaryote or prokaryote. Viruses have no cells, and they can't reproduce they can't replicate or reproduce. They also cannot store energy. They're inert. They have inertia, meaning they can't move. So they don't meet the threshold for living. This is why you can't antibiotics kill bacteria, right? There's no drug that kills a virus because you can't kill something that's not living, technically speaking, right? So this is why you can't ever cure a virus, because the viruses are not living entities. They're non-living because they do not meet the threshold, neither do they meet the standards to be considered living. The criteria they don't meet. So a virus is not a living entity, therefore you can't kill it, and they're parasitic because they need a cell to replicate. This is why when they get in the human body, the first thing they need to do is to avoid detection by the immune system so that they can infiltrate, invade, and penetrate your cells and use your cellular machinery to replicate itself and infect other cells and do the same thing over and over and over again. So this is why this whole COVID-19 stuff is so this is why it's so hard for them to come up with a vaccine for it, right? And again, like I said before in previous videos, vaccination is simply this. It's taking the same virus, weakening that virus, right? And introducing, inoculating that same virus into your system, allowing your system to get familiar with it, with its blueprint, and manufacture based off what's called an antigen, right? You need an antigen, anti-generation of antibodies. That's pretty much what an antigen is. It allows the generation of antibodies. So yeah, without going too much further into that, but yeah. So again, I said this in my other videos, your best defense is to take immune vitamins that build up your immune system, and do a lot of exercise, a whole bunch of exercising. And this is all Darwinism, survival of the fittest. Darwinism, you study evolution, talks about natural selection, whereas the environment selects those species who are best suitable and capable of surviving and passing on their genes to their future generations. And this is also another aspect called survival of the fittest, right? Even though survival of the fittest is kind of, it doesn't mean what you think it means, right? Because survival of the fittest means who have most kids. The more kids you have, you're considered more fit. So I could have $1 billion and own buildings and all kind of stuff in the world, but if I don't have any kids, and the man who's poor lives on the side of the street, but he got 10 kids, 5 kids, he would be considered fit, more fit than I would, even though I'm a multi-billionaire. Because fitness is not determined by material gain or anything at all, materially or externally. It's more so about your ability to reproduce and have children. The more children you have, the fitter you would be considered. Your fitness is determined by the amount of kids you have, not money or anything else. So that's why it's kind of like, not exactly what you think it is, but it's still kind of, for argument's sake, it does kind of play into this though. So take care of yourself, build up your immune systems, a lot of exercise, and again, number one thing is make sure you have God in there. God, without God, none of us is gonna survive. Okay, all right, till next time, peace.